Call to order the meeting of the planning board of March 6th, 2024. Alphabetical roll call, please.
Clark Brewer here.
Tom Callahan here.
Amy Glassmeyer here.
Kevin Hine here.
Okay, I see we have Cassandra Thayer, our town planner, and our town building inspector, John Hallen, is here with us tonight. We will not have town council with us tonight. Did you hear from Deirdre at all? Is she coming?
She should be here.
She should be coming. She said that she was going to be attending.
Okay, I see we have, 5 attendees, so we only have one item on the agenda tonight. Public hearing that we have to read, and the order of things is we'll hear from the applicant, then we'll hear from the board, and then we'll take comments from the members of the public. If you want to be heard out there in the public, you just raise your hand and we'll promote you. Raise the little gold hand. All right, so Cassandra, do you mind reading the public notice?
I do not mind. Pursuant to MGL Chapter 40-A and 300-12.7J of the Cohasset zoning bylaws, the planning board will hold a virtual public hearing on February 7th, 2024 at 6:30 p.m. for a village business district site plan review and special permit modification for property being shown on Cohasset Assessor's Maps E5-018-018 One Pleasant Street, Cohasset, Mass. 02025. The application is for Village Business District Site Plan Review and Special Permit Modification, requesting modifications to the 2021 Planning Board decision. The application is submitted by One Pleasant Street Cohasset LLC of 2 Heritage Lane, Linfield, Mass. 01940. A copy of the application and plans and accompanying documents are on file for viewing in the Town Clerk's office at Cohasset Town Hall, 41 Highland Avenue, Monday through Thursday, 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. and Friday, 8 a.m. to noon. Electronic versions of application material can be obtained by visiting cohassetma.org/active-pb applications. Any person interested or wishing to be heard on the application should access the virtual meeting at the time
Go
designated.
down because it's so tight, it's underproofed, okay? So that's the general rule of thumb, but for me, it's a lot more
Kevin?
time and temperature. And if you were working for me, I would
Kevin,
load the oven. I don't want you.
Hey, Kevin, you're not muted.
Kevin, we can hear you. Okay.
No, he's muted. That was his voice, which
Yeah,
is
I know it was-
strange.
Yeah. It's weird, Kevin. We heard you, but yet you were mute. You said you were muted. But anyway, okay. So who is here for the applicant?
That was not me, guys. I'm
Hmm.
going back to mute.
Okay.
Not just like it.
It did.
was it-
Okay,
was
I
it-
will.
Kevin impersonator. I see Deirdre is out here somewhere. We can
Yes, I
get
will
her. get her.
bring her in as well. All right.
All right, welcome Deirdre. All right, and who's here for the applicant?
And
The
I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to sign off by about 8. So I
Oh, we-
apologize.
We'll be done well before. that.
Good,
Only- it's
okay,
only one
thank
item.
you. Good.
Okay. All right, so Mr. Rabbit, you have the floor whenever you're ready. Hello?
I did ask him to unmute. I don't know if he realizes that he's muted.
Who's he?
Who's Lady Rabbit?
Mr. Rabbit.
It's the
Yes.
someone
Mr.
from
Rabbit.
the lawyer's firm.
That's a very wonderful thing to say, Mr. Rabbit.
There's an echo.
Okay,
He
let
must
me,
have cell
You're
phone.
unmuted, but an echo, a very big echo.
what's happening is, I'm also on the phone because you're not coming in very loud at all.
Well,
We definitely can't hear you.
you
this
gotta
way,
pick,
though.
you gotta pick one or the other. You can't do both.
Hear me?
Hang up the phone.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah.
I see, I'm having a problem hearing you, but we'll continue.
Can you turn up the volume?
It's a 3-story building. The first floor is commercial. The 2 stories above it are 14 residential units. The planning board in 2021 issued a special permit and site plan approval for the commercial space and the 14 residential units. The town of Cohasset has been discussing with the LLC since January 3 options. The option to purchase the entire building, the option to purchase the first floor, and the rental of the first floor. Yesterday, I had a discussion with Michelle Leary, your assistant town manager. And she informed me that at a recent select board meeting, the board voted to only purchase the first floor of the town hall for town hall offices. A town meeting vote for this purchase, providing the planning board allows, will be on June 3rd, 2024. In the event the town meeting vote is in agreement with the select board, the purchase decision would be on the town ballot for a vote sometime in June of 2024. In light of the select board's desire to, purchase the first floor, the only way that can happen is if the property is allowed to be a condominium. Therefore, what the LLC is requesting from the planning board is a minor modification to the 2021 planning board decision to modify the special permit to allow the property to become a commercial condominium on the first floor in order for the town to purchase that, and condominium home ownership on the 2 floors above that. Obviously, when it was approved, there were 4 residential units that would be deemed affordable and deed restrictive. This is to continue. If the planning board approves the condominium, there will be 4 units. And we're hoping to receive a favorable vote in order for the town to be able to purchase that first floor. According to Michelle Leary, she believes that if they do not or cannot purchase the first floor, then the transaction will decease, if you will, and we'll go on our merry way with without the town, unfortunately, purchasing the first floor.
I just want to say for the record, I don't consider this to be a minor.
Again,
I don't consider this to be a minor modification. That doesn't mean we can't deal with it. We are going to deal with it, but just the characterization of this being minor is.
Yeah, unfortunately, Mr. Chairman, it's not coming in, you're not coming in at all.
You have a volume control that you can turn up?
Okay.
The problem with the volume is not on our end, sir, so.
You want to try and log out and log back in? Because you do want to hear what we say. Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
Yeah. We hear now?
try it again.
Hello, can you speak now?
Can you hear me now? That's loud, but not too loud.
Oh, that's good.
That's okay, that's okay.
All right. And let me ask you a question. Is there any financial justification on your side here, to make this switch?
The financial justification?
Yeah,
Basically, we're trying to honor the town's decision hopefully their final decision to purchase the first floor. It cannot happen without the development being a condominium. And so as a result, the town would purchase the first floor and the LLC would sell the 14 residential units as condominium, keeping in mind that 4 of those would be at affordable prices.
All right. Anybody on the board
Add
have
to your-
questions?
Subsidized housing inventory.
Which I'll remind everyone is two more than this property required under our bylaws. We are ahead of the game on that with that respect.
So, I will say that, the use as a town hall of the first floor is, as of right, use in all, districts in town. Municipal use is as of right. While it's not the question that you're asking, I noted that the original decision had 14 residential units in it, and according to the bylaw, those residential units would have 1 parking space requirement on site each. So that would leave 16 parking spaces for the town hall
I believe that's
function.
true. There is also the public parking, I believe, is next door. Yeah, for the town hall, we have, let me just check my notes with the parking.
I don't remember if there was a shared parking analysis that was done on this.
Well,
There was the.
I don't think we approved the parking. They provided more spaces than they needed, and with a mixed-use building, they had to accommodate the residential requirement and the
Yep.
commercial requirement. And
And
that
there were-
hasn't changed.
No,
I
there
mean,
were-
there's still 14 residential units that have a certain parking requirement. I think it's what, one
One,
One
s-
per unit.
space per unit, and
Yes.
then there is a commercial component, and whether the commercial use was town offices or what it was before, retail. I mean, there was even a restaurant that would have had more demand. I don't think that's changing with this.
No.
Because, the uses are the same as what we permitted in 2021,
yeah,
so.
the only change we're requesting is the condominium. Everything else remains exactly the same. The first floor has 14 spaces and the residential units have 14 spaces. And there's 2 handicap spaces.
So the way the residential part of the project was initially permitted, that there were 14 residential units. I mean, this is for the 2 members who weren't a part of the 14 residential units, and because there was over 25% and rental, 25% affordable and rental, all 14 of the units would count as a lip, and that's what the developer proposed initially going in, before we even looked at the building and the site work and had analysis and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So what they're proposing is to reduce, so if all 14 count, but 4 are actually residential, affordable, the other 10 would still count on our subsidized housing inventory. So the whole project would benefit the town by providing 14 total units in the subsidized housing inventory, even though only 4 are truly affordable per se.
Yes,
So the developer's proposing to sell as condos, so that only the 4 would count as affordable, not the 14.
and with rental properties, the total units are counted. And
Yeah, the state since
I'll never
1969
understand that, but that's.
has a preference for rental because it allows more flexible housing, and condos people tend to sit in for forever.
Yeah, my understanding from talking to Michelle Leary is Cohasset is already at 10%.
Right, we still need more units though.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Well,
Every place does.
if we could stop people from building those houses, then we wouldn't need any more.
It's,
All right, hold on, Amy. I just, and for the record, is my understanding that the original proposal that went to town meeting, the town was going to take one of those 14 residential units for a break room. And I understand that that would still be the case. So we will be down to 13 units, 4 affordable, 9 unaffordable. But again, if it was all rental, we'd have 13 counting, 13 out of 13 counting, so. But I understand that 1 unit for a break room is still part of the plan. But anyway, Amy, go ahead.
Yeah, Michelle wasn't sure about that 1 unit.
Yeah, I might still be in the air, but it doesn't make a significant difference. But
Yes.
all right, Amy, go ahead.
I am not clear on what we are debating. It seems to me that there's a statement on the table regarding the town's purchase of the first floor square footage.
Yes.
And 1 condominium of the 14 condominia that would be part of the purchase. And that.
Possibly, not necessarily.
Perhaps, Amy.
We don't know that for
Because-
sure, Amy.
No,
That was-
I'm trying to basically, we're
Summarize what we're talking about. I get
we're
it.
discussing things without being precise. This should be a very straightforward discussion that relates to, do we buy the bottom of the building? And do we agree that this can be condominialized? Why are we debating anything other than that in 2 packages?
We're not. Our inquiry is simply, do we approve a modification from rental to condo?
Mhm. Yes. ma'am.
I move that we approve the change to include condominium.
We haven't discussed it yet.
Well, all right, Clark, what do you want to discuss? It's pretty straightforward.
Well,
and,
there's,
you know,
I outlined that the town loses 10 units on the subsidized housing inventory if this goes from rental to condo. And I think that's a significant difference. And I would also say that if that hadn't been offered up front, we might have had more interest in tweaking what was proposed originally. I
I
will
don't
say,
think
I don't think there's any,
well,
there's any-
let's,
I mean,
let's-
that was what was offered. And I think that losing 10 units is significant to the town in terms of if we were to have to make those up in some way.
well, let me say this about that. When the original owner came to us in 2021, he could have proposed condos right off the bat. He didn't. That's his choice. We had no say in that. All we had a say in is under our bylaws, we could have demanded 2 affordable units. He offered us 4, and we're
Right,
still
but-
getting.
And that was a
And his-
precondition.
Talk over
I
him.
understand that, but we could not have conditioned it to be all rental or all condo at the time. That was not our call. The bylaw doesn't give us the power to make that call. What the bylaw gives us the power to do is to judge a switch. Once you've made one decision and you want to switch it to the other, either going rental to condo or condo to rental, that we get to decide. But we never would have had that decision and the leverage to say, sir, we're not approving this unless you go all rental. We would, that would have been beyond our power to do. But we did get a beneficial offer of double the number of affordable units that we got, and we're not losing those. The powers that be say we're ahead of our inventory. Yes, when we come to the 2030 census, might we benefit from having 9 or 10 more units on the inventory? Maybe we will, maybe we won't. Lots of things can happen between now and 2030. And we're going to be making other bylaw changes to deal with that.
Well, for the purpose of creating ownership or a condo space for town hall, certainly the building could be broken up into 2 condos instead of 15. 14 of those residential units could remain rental as one part of the building or one ownership part of the building, while the town hall part could be its own ownership part of the building, 2 condos instead of 15, and then that would preserve the 14 units that would be on the subsidized housing inventory. A benefit, a great benefit to the town.
Well,
Well, under that scenario, the developer would have to own the 14 units and then rent them out himself.
yes,
As compared to if they were all condos, then the developer would obviously sell 10 of them at market rate, and the other 4 would be affordable and deed restricted.
that's, well, that's why I asked if you have if this doesn't happen, be honest with us, are you at risk of going belly up here? Because we don't want another failed project in the village. We have one right now. We don't need another one in a showcase property. That's why I asked if there's a financial justification for your end. Forget the town hall component of it. Although I think that's a consideration for us of a greater good and purpose that's behind this, but is there a risk here that if this doesn't happen and you're dealing with rentals, that you're going belly up and we're gonna have a vacant building on our hands? I want you to be very honest about that, because it helps justify this.
Yeah, because the developer is also giving the town, assuming it's condominium, is giving the town a substantial credit towards the fit up. Substantial credit, almost 50% of the fit up would be a credit towards the total fit up of that 7,544 square feet commercial space.
All right.
I
Anybody
don't know
else
if
on the
that
board?
figures into the planning board's thinking. The planning board it's a narrow question of whether it's rental residential units that all count on the SHI or condoed where only 4 count on the SHI.
But part of our request is in accordance with what the chairman took part of my thunder by saying that at the initial meeting, there were only 2 units requested and the developer allowed 4. And the planning board usually doesn't have on the initial meeting a choice or a decision to make regarding condos or apartments. Because we are asking for a minor modification, the planning board does have the right to make this decision. And
There's that word again. This is not a minor modification, so stop characterizing it if you would, but just for historical accuracy, we were offered 4 units off the bat. We didn't ask for them. There was no bargaining for it. That developer came in and offered them off from the get-go. And obviously we gladly accepted that, but just to make sure we're accurate about what happened 3 years ago. All right, anybody else on the board? I see we do have a couple of hands up in the audience that I want to get to as well. All right, then, Cassandra, could you promote Mr. Kears and Mr. Caggiano?
Yes, so I am offering to promote Mr. Caggiano. He keeps declining.
Okay.
And I'm promoting Paul as well.
No. Mr. Caggiano, if you have something to offer, it either has to go into the Q&A function that we can read into the record, or we promote you and you say it live. So whichever one you choose is fine. All right, Mr. Kears, you could identify yourself, name and address.
Sure.
If you're speaking as any town official, let us know that.
Paul Kears, 39 Old Coach Road. I am the chairman for the Affordable Housing Steering Committee.
Yeah, hello, this is Paul Caggiano, anytime. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes.
yes, hold on
Okay.
just a second. Mr. Kears has the floor.
Sure, go ahead.
So we had brought this particular subject matter up at our recent board, and we voted unanimously against the change, specifically because of the housing unit count. So we understand that, you know, we were seeking to keep the apartments because we get credit for the 14. We realize that it is switched to condominiums. It would be a minimum of 2, a maximum of 4, based on the decisions made by the planning board. And we respect the right of the property owner to be able to change from condominiums to apartments. It is their right to be able to do so. We believe this is kind of a unique situation because originally, when the property was approved, they decided to offer up 4 if it was condominiums units as affordable, or offer the 4 units as affordable in lieu of getting a favorable outcome. And at the time, the town was looking to be able to gain as many affordable units. So if they were all of apartments, the project would be more favorable to approve in the village as apartments because of the housing stock that's the town desperately needs. We're barely over 10%. I think we're 10.2. And so those decisions were made back then because of the property owner enticing the town to vote in favor of this project because of that housing stock. So as time moved on, the town expressed a desire to purchase the whole building. And so the voters voted against that. And now the town has come back to say, well, we'll buy half the building. So what that decision is doing is it's kind of forcing the property owner to make, you know, hard financial decisions to convert this property for the sole purpose of selling it to the town. And I believe that is kind of thwarting the will of the voters who voted against it, and not the select board has not provided an opportunity for those folks to speak on behalf of whether or not they should purchase half this building. The Board of Selectmen decided they were going to vote on their own to make an offer to buy half the building. So not a whole lot of public comment on that, to my knowledge. There could have been enough to warrant the decision that they made, and that's fine. At this juncture, I respect the planning board opinion that, you know, it's whether it's condo or apartment, I don't know that it's a privy, but you do have the ability to postpone the decision to see if the town would actually purchase the property based on this being converted to condominiums. So if this goes to the town ballot, and once it's on the warrant, it gets approved, and then it has to go for town meeting vote. Then if it does pass, then he can convert it to condominiums. Because I'm afraid that if you convert it now and it does not pass again, now it's condominiums, and we don't have the option of getting the 14 apartments.
The only comment I have about that is that the town meeting vote is June 3rd. And then obviously they would put it out on the ballot. So sometime during the month of June, it would either be approved or not approved to purchase the first floor only. It's not quite 50% of the building. It's 7,544 square feet. However, the developer can't wait until June to move forward with this development. In other words, financially speaking, he would either have to start immediately if the planning board approves, obviously, and to do things to get ready for either sale or rental. And wait till June would be financially prohibitive.
So you're clear then that our chairman has asked, is this a financial issue for the developer?
There's no question.
I can answer that.
Yep.
Paul Caggiano.
Well, who are you, sir, and identify yourself, please?
Paul Caggiano.
And address?
Member of the LLC.
I'm the owner of the property.
Oh.
I'm the owner of the LLC.
Okay,
And from a financial standpoint, we've tried to work with the town to facilitate the needs they have in the town hall. We expected, based upon the last vote, that the town was going to approve the initial purchase of the building. Although I understand we lost it by 8 or 10 votes in the general election or vote counting with the town. With that, we continue to move forward and we try to put together a lease option for the town. But that didn't seem to be palatable. So now they've basically said the only way they could move into the space is if they bought it. And the only way they can buy it is if I condo the building. And I'm not in a position to wait much longer. Either we'll condo the building, and as my attorney said, we'll begin marketing the units, or we'll leave it as is and we'll begin renting the building to other tenants. But I am not in a position to delay another 3 to 4 months as to what the goal is in renting the building. It's got to be finished and start generating revenue. So that's the position we're in. I think that I understand you're losing 10 units, but you're still getting the 4 affordable, and we're accommodating the town's need as far as building out the new town hall on the first floor. So we're trying to accommodate everybody, but I need that accommodation to make it a reality.
Paul, I appreciate your position. I just want to clear some things up here. You know, when this was originally permitted, this complied with the village bylaw. It's not like we had, theoretically, could we have denied a special permit? Sure, we could have. And, you know, with what we faced with another project in the village in its first permutation, we were prepared to do that. But this project wasn't looking at a denial. And again, we were offered the 4 off the bat without asking. For whatever reason that developer and that owner wanted to do it, he
It was
offered.
to sweeten the deal, Tom, right?
Well,
To make it so that, you know, it really, there was that alone was an enormous benefit to
Yeah,
the town.
Clark, the reality is that we got a building on the same footprint as the old building. It just added a 3rd floor and it added residences. And that's exactly what the village bylaw was designed to do and to accomplish. And it's not like, you know, we were being induced to sweeten the deal for something that was a marginal project that we could have denied. You know, I want people to just be real about how that happened. But what we could not have done at the beginning was to insist on rentals versus condos. We couldn't have enforced that. We could have asked, but we couldn't have enforced it in the decision. So, you know, I think this needs to be evaluated as if town hall wasn't there. And that's why I asked the developer for a straight and honest answer. Are you in financial difficulty renting out the rest of the building, commercial and residential? If you are, just tell us that. That's a justification for this. But let's look, you know, whether town hall is the downstairs tenant or a bunch of offices like used to be there and a restaurant that like used to be there is somewhat immaterial to this inquiry. But be that as it may, the town hall is the reality. It's the elephant in the room here. It is so there's a larger public issue and benefit to be had from this whole thing. And I don't think that should be discounted. You know, we've got double the number of units we could have gotten or would have gotten under our bylaw. That puts us ahead of the game. Yes, we'll lose 10 in the count for the count that's going to occur 6 years from now. I realize that's difficult to swallow sometimes, but I'm not troubled by it when I'm looking at the larger picture of all the objectives that are here and the public benefit to those objectives. So,
But Tom, what is the harm of having 2 condos to condo out the first floor from the rest of the building?
Well, because
condoing out each individual residential unit for sale.
Because
That
I assume
solves both problems, doesn't it? It maintains our SHI count and it allows the town to take over the town hall space if that is what the town wants to do.
I don't know what that does to our
Well,
SHI
I
count.
can interject. Financially, I wouldn't do it. It's not an option on my part. Financially, it creates more issues, potentially more problems. And I'm looking this project to be a financial success. It's in the center of town, and I don't want to jeopardize any longer its financial health by splitting it into two condos. Financially, if it's all condo, it's a stronger product, and I can facilitate the town's needs on the first floor. If it's split up just two condos, I'm not willing to do that. I'll leave it all rental.
Plus, we won't know whether the condo for the town is approved until June, end of June sometime.
Yeah, but,
No,
well,
but
let me say this about that. First of all, you may be you're gonna be subject to a town vote anyway, and that's the other point I wanted to make as a former selectman. Yes, this is perfectly within the purview of the selectmen to make this decision up to this point. The purchase of real estate or the rental of real estate initially has to be made by the chief executive authority of the town, and that's what they're doing. There's nothing underhanded, there's nothing illegal about it. It is subject to a town meeting vote, it'll be subject to an election. That's the way the world works. Now, as for you, Mr. Developer, you could lose the election again, or you could lose a town meeting vote.
Yes.
So you still have some risk here too, and
Well,
And-
the risk, Tom.
you're delayed until June, no matter what we just do tonight. You are
Oh,
delayed
no,
until
no,
June.
no, Tom, I'm not. I'm delaying whether we sell the first floor to the town. Because the town, you can't give me that, you can't tell me now that you can do that. But I'm not delaying selling or starting to pre-sell the 14 units that are in the building. If you let me condo it, I can proceed on one avenue. And whatever happens with the first floor happens. If it winds up being for the town, which I hope it does, then we sell it to the town. If not, we'll rent it up and sell the cash flow. But at least I know what direction I'm going in. I
Right.
can't wait till June to decide whether I'm renting or selling.
And the only decision is the town. If it was approved as condos, as Paul said, we can market the units and keep going and wait until the town approves or not approve the first floor. To buy it is what I'm saying.
Yeah, but if the potential benefit of a new town hall wasn't part of this, we might not even make this decision.
Correct.
And then you're stuck with the rentals.
And then that's what I
Using the
do.
same argument, the
Well,
developer
anyway,
could start renting the apartments out now as in addition to selling the apartments if, I mean, you could do either. You could
No,
start
no, I
renting them out
can't.
when they're ready.
No, if I'm gonna condo the building, I'm gonna proceed to try to condo the building. I can't rent the apartments, then in June find out I'm condoing the building. What do I do with the leases? I can't sell the units now. They're rented. So I need to know what direction the town wants to go. And so I can plan what
All right,
direction
let me go to Paul Kears.
Sure,
And then Deirdre, please.
So I completely understand the owner's dilemma here, because if he condos 100% of the building at the moment, he can liquidate the second floor 14 units and be whole with cash. But the question I have is, this was approved for retail space on the first floor in a restaurant. So what plan is he going to change and submit? Is he submitting office space and no restaurant, where the whole 7,500 square feet is strictly office and no restaurant, no retail space there? What is that plan? Because I'm also the sewer commissioner, and our sewer privilege and hookup fee is going to be based on whether or not there's that 50-seat restaurant that was prior approved in the original plans. And the original plans of all we've seen so far, we haven't seen any additional plans come forward as to what the new changes are to that property.
Well, again, Paul, with all due respect, we didn't permit specific uses. We permitted the allowed, we permitted a mixed-use building, and the commercial part of it, the bylaw allows for certain uses and it doesn't. We didn't get into those specifics.
Okay,
What was there before was a mix of retail and office uses. What we were told, if we were told anything, I recall, is that they were hoping that the previous tenants would come back. Well, the previous tenants are now gone for 3 years and, are off in the wind.
Tom,
But
that's not
it was a
100%
mix,
correct.
it was a mix then, and it was. we-
24 in our decision says under the commercial units shall be for office and retail use only. But
Right,
I mean, I
which is
think,
what is allowed under the bylaw, but we didn't say this will
yes,
be a restaurant.
and I
this will
think
be
the
a
town hall
retail.
function is an office use. It's also a municipal government use.
Right.
And there will be no restaurant in the town hall space.
Well, again, Deirdre, go ahead, and then I see we promoted. Corey
I'm
as a-
sorry, my question may be, but this is to the developer. Have you completed the rental units? Are they structurally ready to go? Or no? Just curious.
All of the 14 units, we haven't got occupancy permits, but in fact, they are painted, appliances in, everything is completed. So those
So-
units they're ready to show.
So
Yeah.
they're ready to go, whether they're rental or they're,
That's correct. Ready to
Okay.
go within the appropriate time frame for final occupancy permits and
so
other things.
you're not looking to try and improve those so that they sell at a higher rate as a condo than an apartment, rental as an apartment?
It's possible there may be some additional cosmetic moldings or not, if necessary, but I don't have any initial plan to doing that, no.
Thank you.
All right, see, we promoted Corey Evans. Corey, go ahead, you have the floor.
Hi, Corey Evans, 313 North Main Street. This would be a public comment. Is the chair taking public comment at the moment, or is
Yeah,
this?
go ahead. Yeah.
Okay.
We're sort of
So,
free form at the moment.
Okay, thank you. I do want to agree with Mr. Callahan's point about encourage the board to look at this really as its own thing, not really discuss or really consider what the town intends to do with it based on how that is still up in the air. And this, I think, should be viewed completely as its own application. And then I would like to re-emphasize the value of the supportive housing inventory. I know it's 10 units, but it's 45% of what we have right now in the pipeline. That's a lot. And this town has historically struggled with meeting its SHI requirements. And there's a discussion about capital A affordable and small A affordable. That's an important one. But for complying with what we need to legally, these 10 units are important. So I would encourage the planning board, in whatever their decision is, to preserve the full 14 as much as possible with whatever they decide, because I think we've learned that 3 or 4 years is not a lot of time to make up 10 units. 10 units is a lot. That's all I've got. Thanks for listening.
Yeah, and we have a major zoning change coming to us that's being forced upon us, and who knows if it'll bring units or not. But just remember that that's coming too. So that's why I say a lot's going to happen in the next 6 years. Paul, is your hand still up?
yeah, so I understand that according to the chairwoman of the select board, that the new zoning laws from the MBTA do not require any affordable housing. Those are all 40Rs, which the element
No.
that she told us was not 40Rs. So I just wanted you to take that in consideration.
No, to the contrary, our proposed bylaw includes our inclusionary zoning requirement, and those state guidelines for this housing specifically allow us to do that. So it will have an affordable housing component.
Inclusionary only helps us to keep up with whatever
Yeah,
that
it keeps
impact
us at the
is. It doesn't-
10%.
It doesn't add anything.
All right, anybody else? All right, then, entertain a motion, please. Either to approve the modification or to deny the modification. I don't care however it's framed.
I would make a motion to approve the modification.
The
I would
second,
second that.
right? Any further discussion? All right, all in favor of the motion to approve the modification, we'll do alphabetical roll call.
Clark Brewer, nay.
Tom Callahan, aye.
Amy Glassmeyer, aye.
Kevin Heine, aye.
Deirdre Hobson, I.
All right, so that decision is made and we will get the decision to you as quickly as we can. Board members, you know the drill. We'll get a note from Cassandra to come up to town hall and sign it. So I thank everybody for their participation on this one. So,
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. Thank you.
and Paul and Corey, thank you for your participation. Appreciate it. All right, our only other business that we have minutes from our last week's meeting that Cassandra circulated today. Can I motion to approve those minutes?
Motion to approve.
I hope somebody second.
Second.
I'll second. All right, all in favor?
Clark Brewer, aye.
Tom Callahan, aye.
Amy Glassmeyer, aye.
Kevin Heine, aye.
Deirdre Hobson, I.
Okay. And then just briefly, you've all been included on the most recent memos coming out of the ZBC. We have put 3 more articles in front of town council. We are meeting again on Monday night. Hopefully we'll have, if I spoke to town council today, hopefully have some feedback on the development impact one so that maybe we can get that finalized and put aside. And then the committee, the zoning bylaw committee, is still delving into the other Article 5 proposals, which deal with frontage, house size measurement, and the future of large home review. Those are the three components that we're still dealing with. Parking, again, we didn't have any work product from town council on that I thought we might have had. I know Judge was working on it before the holidays, but I have started to circulate a parking bylaw. Again, the substantive changes were just to change the table of uses and spaces based on town council's comments, added the requirements for the overlay parking requirements. And then the policy that we adopted when we did the Situate Hill project about not including bathrooms, hallways, and closets in the calculation of net floor area, that's now in the bylaw rather than just being a policy. I know Clark has got some suggestions he's coming forward with on parking space sizes to bring that up to the day of the age of the SUV. And another proposal about one-way driving through a parking area. So I'm looking forward to those. Anybody else? And the reason I'm circulating these, I do not want to be bombarded with questions at the last minute at the public hearings, which are going to start April 3rd. Kevin got back to me with some comments today on one of the bylaws that was circulated. I appreciate that. Get comments to me. I'd rather deal with issues sooner rather than later. And, clean them up within the bylaw committee so that we do have the planning board public hearings in a couple of weeks. They are, in a clean and ready to go fashion. So that's where we are in that. Anybody else got anything that's going on that they want to report about?
But you're including Humvees, right, in this parking space thing? Because we got a lot of Humvees appearing in town. I got a few Osgood that are taking up like
Well,
half the parking lot.
yeah, Clark, what's the current width? The
I
current
like,
width.
I
What's
like
the current
adding
width?
some width, the
Yeah,
the parking
what is the
spaces
current
in
width
front
of our
of Bank of
spaces?
America are like 10.5 feet, and it just makes it so much easier to pull in and out. And I have the smallest car in town at 4 feet wide and 10 feet long.
Yeah, no, but what is our current width of our spaces?
Yeah, I'm just
I
curious.
I think it's 9 and
I think it's
9
9, 8 or
and
9.
and 20 feet long, and then parallel parking is like 8 and 22 feet.
Okay.
Is that right, John?
Yeah, I think that's right, Clark. I was kind of taking a peek the other day.
And it might be a pain, but 9.5 or 10. 10 might make more sense. A lot of towns use 10. But to provide some more parking options, having a one-way drive aisle that's narrower than the 24 feet for two-way. might help in some developments, to have that as an option.
Thank you. I just, sorry.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
so-
always looking at school and
Right.
we're jammed in this parking space that none of us can get out of at the end of the day, but anyway.
Yeah,
And as far as the number of spaces per uses, as I was going through it and taking our current things and adapting it to the new list of uses, I mean, one of the suggestions of town council was, we changed the way we define uses in Article 4. Oh, and by the way, Article 4 was approved by the Attorney General. One of the other articles that went to fall town meeting, they asked for an extension to approve it. The other one, I forget which one that was, but Article 4, the changes to Article 4, the table of uses and the uses article has all been approved now by the Attorney General. But anyway, the judge had suggested we follow that list, and so the list is actually a little longer, but as I was moving, the space requirements, they all seem fine. And, for the multifamily, the housing choice overlay, we're gonna go with a space and a half. It's the village that anyone's ever raised an issue about, and the village is 1 per unit as opposed to 1.5, and then it's got that language about being able to use the town parking lot if you're within 500 feet. So, again, if anybody has any strong thoughts on that, that's fine. But as I said in my email today, I just remind you of what the intent of the village bylaw was, and you don't want to kill it and kill the intent of it by having unrealistic parking requirements. We've done, I think, a very good job is that every project we've approved, at least since I'm on this board, has had on-site parking. The ones that are troublesome are the hospitality uses. They do not have on-site parking, and those can be very intensive on the weekend. And I don't know if there's a solution to that, because the hospitality uses of the village have helped revitalize the village compared to what it was 20 years ago when we passed the bylaw. So just keep that in mind, but anyway, that's where we are with that. So plan on, again, April 3rd and possibly April 10, depending on how many articles we end up with and how far we can get on April 3rd. So anything else? Nothing else? I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
so moved.
All right, I'll second it. All in favor?
Clark Brewer, aye.
Tom Callahan, aye.
Amy Glassmeyer, aye.
Kevin Heine, aye.
Deirdre Hobson, I.
Okay, well, thank you all, and we'll
Good night.
see.
Thank you.
Our next meeting is what, Cassandra? The 8th? No, the 20th, right?
The 20th.
20th, okay, see you then.